Hello my dear students and welcome again to today's class. As you can see on your screens, the topic is age of adolescence. Okay, what is age of adolescence? See children, first of all, what is adolescence? So if I talk about adolescence, it is the phase of life, okay, between childhood and adulthood. Okay, between the childhood and adulthood there is a phase of life that is known as adolescence. Okay, now what happens over here? There are different changes in the human body. Okay, there are different changes which take place and those changes are very important. Okay, so we'll start the chapter now. As you can see on your screens, all living things have the ability to grow and develop. All the living things, they grow and they develop. Okay, so in this chapter we will learn the changes that takes place in humans. So when you turn 12 or in your pre-teenage, you begin to feel mixed emotions. Your body structure starts changing or in fact developing. This is all brought about by hormones. So hormones are chemical substances released by various glands in a body which help in the growth and development and proper functioning of the organs to carry out various biological processes. What happens? There are different changes in a body which takes place, okay, during this period. Okay, and how does it take place? With the help of our hormones. Okay, hormones are there in a body which starts releasing different chemicals due to which our body starts changing. Fine. Now coming to the next one, hormones regulate many processes in the body such as growth, development, okay, behavior and reproduction. The glands that release these hormones are bag-like structures located in the various parts of the body. So these are called the endocrine glands and are collectively called the endocrine system. Okay, now a hormone is produced in one part of the body. It is released into the bloodstream by the secreting glands. It then travels to the specific target organ to carry out its function. Now a body have other type of glands called exocrine glands. These glands support secretion in ducts. What are ducts? Ducts are tubes inside the human body. Now, there's a difference between, you don't have to go much in detail, just an outlining I'm giving you, the difference between endocrine and exocrine gland. Okay, what happens in endocrine gland? They do not have ducts, means they are tubes. Okay, they are tubeless. But in exocrine, these glands have ducts. That means it has tubes. They release their secretion, that is the hormone, directly into the bloodstream, and they release their secretion into ducts because they have tubes. Ducts are tubes. So where are they releasing? They are releasing in the ducts. But on the other hand, if I talk about endocrine gland, where are they releasing? They are releasing into the bloodstream. Okay, these glands release only hormones, while these glands do not release hormones. Okay, now moving to the next one. The glands that are involved in releasing hormones are the pituitary gland, thyroid, pancreas, adrenal gland, ovaries and testes. Okay, now we'll start with pituitary gland. Where are they located? They are located at the base of the brain. Where is the brain? Our brain is here. Okay, where are they located? They are located at the base of the brain. Okay, now hormones secreted are HGH, TCH and FCH. What is GHH? That is human growth hormone. Human growth hormone is a growth hormone secreted by the pituitary gland. Okay, what happens? It secretes this pituitary gland. It secretes hormones. Okay, deficiency of HGH. HGH is human growth development during infancy leads to dwarfism. In case it does not release proper hormone, what happens? The child born has a short height. When the child has got a short height, what is the disease known as? It is known as dwarfism. But when it is in excess, anything in short or in excess, both are not good for us. Okay, it has to be in proper balance. But in case it is excessing, the secretion is more, what happens? Excess excretion of this hormone leads to disorder called gigantism. What happens? The baby born is very tall. Okay, he or she is not normal, he or she is very tall. That is known as gigantism. Now, here you can see on your screens also, pituitary gland also releases various other hormones that are responsible for the proper functioning of endocrine gland, and it is the pituitary gland is also called the master gland. It is known as master gland also. Okay, now moving to the next one. Okay, now we'll talk about thyroid gland. Where is it found? It is found near the neck. This is our neck region. It is found over here. Just now I told you about the pituitary gland, where it was. It was inside the brain. But now I'm talking about the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland, it is found near the neck region. Okay. Thyroxine hormone is secreted by the thyroid gland after it receives instructions from the pituitary gland. This hormone regulates the metabolism of a body. It needs a continuous supply of iodine in the right amount to function properly. Deficiency in iodine causes the production of this hormone. Hence, its deficiency leads to a disease called goiter. Okay, whenever the thyroid gland is not working properly, what happens? The human gets a disease known as goiter. You can see or here also, in this picture, the person is suffering from a disease known as goiter. What happens? The neck area, it swells up. Okay, here you can see it is all swelled up. Goiter is the enlargement of the thyroid gland, which shows as a huge bulge in the neck region. Fine. Now we'll talk about pancreas. Okay, pancreas. Here you can see on your screens also. Yeah. Pancreas act as both endocrine and exocrine glands. Hence, it is called a dual gland. Okay, it is working both for endocrine and exocrine. So, functioning for both. That is why it is known as dual gland. Fine. Now, where is it? Where are pancreas? It's near the liver. Okay. Now, pancreas have a specific tissue that secretes the hormone called insulin. Insulin regulates the sugar level in the blood. Hence, deficiency in this hormone leads to a disease called diabetes. Okay, a person suffering from diabetes is called a diabetic. A diabetic should control the sugar intake in their diet. Hence, the insulin hormone to control sugar level is not being produced sufficiently. Okay, the person who is having the problem of diabetes, he or she should have a control of his sugar intake. Okay, now proper digestion, regular fitness keeps a check on the sugar level of blood. Severe diabetic cases are treated with insulin injections. And what is the treatment for that? It is insulin. Fine. Now we'll talk about adrenal glands or adrenals. Okay. Now you can see on your screens also over here. If I talk about adrenal glands, where are they located? They are located top of the two kidneys. Every human being has got two kidneys, but at a time only one kidney works. Okay, two kidneys cannot work together. Okay, now have you heard people saying a rush of adrenaline? Do you know what they actually mean by that statement? For example, if you are walking in a park and suddenly what happens? You see a lizard or your snake, you just run away. Why is it like that? So, when you're taking a walk in the park, all of a sudden you see a lizard in your path, you get scared and at the very next moment you run away from it. What helps you to take such immediate action? It is the adrenal that gets secreted. Okay. What happens the moment you see the snake or a lizard? You start running. Why? Because the adrenal gland has secreted. Okay. Now what happens? the heartbeat, it's very high that time, or the blood flow is also very fast. Okay, the breathing rate, you start breathing more. Okay, now we'll talk about aldosterone. This is another hormone released by the adrenals. It helps in maintaining correct salt balance in the blood. Everything in a right amount is important. It is not there that sugar is too much and salt is less. No. Every body needs everything in right proportion. And aldosterone, it is another hormone which is released by the adrenals. It helps in the it helps in maintaining the correct salt balance in the blood. Fine. Now we'll talk about sex hormones. There's another set of glands that releases the sex hormones. These glands are the testes in male and the ovaries in female. Fine. These glands function after receiving instructions from the pituitary gland. Everything is sent from the brain. And whereas in the brain, which gland do we have? We have pituitary gland. So and I told you in the beginning also, the pituitary gland is also known as master gland because it is giving instructions to every part of the body. Okay, now the testes in male releases a hormone called testosterone. The ovaries in female releases a hormone called estrogen. Fine. Now we'll talk about testosterone. It helps in the growth and development of the male sexual organs at puberty. It helps in the development of secondary sexual characters like the deepening of the voice, growth of hair on the chest and pubic regions, broadening of shoulders and growth of facial hair and Adam's apple. It causes growth and spurt in boys at puberty. Estrogen, this is for the male. Testosterone, I told you, it is found in males, but if I talk about estrogen, it is for male. Okay, and where is it found? It is found in female. Okay, it helps in the development of sexual organs in the female. It helps in the development of secondary sexual characters like growth of hair in the pubic region, development of breast and widening of hips. It also readies the uterus for implantation every month. Okay, now moving to the next one. What is puberty? That is very important. Okay, now to start with, puberty is the age when a boy or a girl reaches sexual maturity. Their reproductive organs develop fully so that they can give birth. It is the age when the boy or the girl, they are ready for reproduction. Okay, when they can give birth to the baby, that is known as puberty. Okay, now puberty lasts for several years, during which the body undergoes physical changes like development of breast, widening of hips, broadening of shoulders and growth of hair under the arms, chest and in the pubic regions. Now the following changes are there which you can see. Just following are some of the changes that takes place in boys during puberty. First is facial hair growth of the chest. The voice squeaks while talking and eventually deepens to become hoarse and low pitched. Broadening of shoulders, increase in height, development of sex organs, production of sperm by the testes, and emotions related to adulthood begin to develop over here. Now, this was for the boys, I told you. Now, as you can see here, following are some of the changes that takes place in girls during puberty. First, growth of hair in the pubic region and underarms. Okay, development of breast, widening of hips, increase in height. These are common in both girls and boys. Development of high-pitched voice, development of sex organs like the ovaries, beginning of menstruation cycle every month, and emotions related to adulthood began to develop. Okay, now let us study these changes at puberty in detail. Increase in height. If I talk about increase in height, here, what happens? Once you reach this age, your height, it starts increasing, okay, and after a certain age the height stops, okay. And what is that age? Usually 18 to 19. The maximum you can grow is during this period only, and after that the height stops, okay. Now moving to the next one. Here I would like to read out for you. When they reach 18 years of age, they stop growing and their height has reached its maximum. Just now I told you, till the age of 18, your height keeps on growing, but as you reach the age of 18, your height stops, okay? And the maximum height which you have is at the age of 18 or 19, like that, okay? Now moving to the next one. Okay, change in voice. The children, they have different voice, but as they come enter into their teens, okay, the voice change, okay, it becomes some sort heavy, okay. Now girls develop a shrill voice when they attain puberty. Boys develop a low pitched voice. Their change in the voice is very noticeable. You can just make out the difference on the, if you are speaking on the phone, whether you are talking to a child or to a teenage, okay, because your voice change, okay, and that change in voice is very much noticeable. The voice starts to squeak in between while talking, okay. This happens for a certain period of time and then changes to a heavy, manly voice. In boys, the voice box, also known as Adam's apple, can be seen clearly and prominently, okay. Here you can see in this here, you can see here, the diagram is here, okay. What is this? This is Adam's apple. You can see the neck. In the neck area you will find this, okay, in the boys. If I talk about the body shape, now we'll move to the body shape of a boy. A boy develops facial hair and hair on the chest and pubic region. His shoulders broaden and his build become muscular. Now changes in the body shape of a girl. What changes are there? Now you can see there is a growth of hair in the pubic region and underarms. Here you can see the underarms, the hair starts growing, and even in the pubic region. And the body shows gradual development of breast. Now pimple and acne. This is very common once you reach in your teens. What happens at puberty? You will see your face spotted with painful pimples and acne. The hormonal level increases during puberty. This increase in hormones stimulates the sweat and sebaceous glands to release more sweat and oil in the skin, and due to which you will find the problem of pimples. This is very common, children. Now, development of sexual organs, okay, both in male and female. The sexual organs that help in reproduction fully develop during puberty. In other words, these organs are now fully mature and can reproduce. The male testes start producing sperms and the female ovaries release an ovum every month, okay. Now menstruation cycle, okay, that is found in the female, okay. Every month what happens? Every month one of the two ovaries release an egg or the ovum. The release of ovum by the ovaries is called ovulation. The ovum enters the fallopian tube. During this stage, if an intercourse takes place, fertilization of the ovum by the sperm occurs. This fertilized ovum or the zygote travels to the uterus and gets implanted in the uterine wall. During this time, the uterus has been preparing itself by thickening its wall with extra lining, enlarging so that it can accommodate the fetus later on. Okay. Now this is what happens when any female gets pregnant, but a different course takes place when there is no intercourse and no fertilization of the ovum occurs. Okay, what happens then? Here you can see the ovum remains in the fallopian tube and waits for the sperm. When it does not meet a sperm, the ovum disintegrates and no implantation takes place. At the end of 28th day, the urinary lining breaks, releases its content through the vagina. This is called the weeping of the uterus. The first day of bleeding is counted as the first day of the menstruation cycle. Each cycle lasts for a period of 28 to 30 days. The 28th day of the cycle is the day before the bleeding starts. This bleeding that happens every month due to disintegration of the uterus is called menstruation or the menstrual cycle. And the first day, the first occurrence of this menstruation at puberty is called menarche. When the girl first time gets this menstruation cycle, that is known as menarche, and the end of the menstruation at the age of 50 to 55 is called menopause. Okay, usually this menstruation cycle begins in the girls at the age of 14 or 15 like that, and it ends at the age of 55. When it ends, it is called a period of menopause, and when it starts, it is known as menarche. Okay, now next one, nutrition and personal hygiene. Children, personal hygiene is very important. See, puberty is a stage during which there is a rapid development of physically and mentally. Hence, a balanced diet is must for proper development. Intake of vitamins and minerals is essential during puberty, because at this time your body is undergoing a maximum change. So your diet should be properly. You should take a proper diet. It should have a lot of vitamins, minerals, whatever the body requires. The diet should have all that. Okay. Personal hygiene should be maintained at all cost. One sweats a lot. Proper washing of areas like armpits, forehead, and other sweat secreting areas should be done. Clean to keep these areas germ free. Accumulation and growth of bacteria gives a bad body occur. You should take personal care of your body, your hygiene, because a lot of sweat is there. In case you do not clean your body parts properly, what happens? It starts giving out smell, and certain germs it starts developing over there, which after some time they can be a big problem for you all. So you should take your proper care of your body. You should take personal hygiene the topmost priority, and whatever you eat, your intake should be proper. It should be a healthy diet. Fine. Now, drug abuse. Okay. Drugs are chemical substances that affect the physical, mental and emotional being of a person or an individual. A person used to take drugs and cannot do without one is called a drug addict. When you start taking drugs, those are chemicals. Okay, what happens? Your body it becomes so much dependent on it that you cannot do anything on your own, and that time you are known as drug addict. Okay, it is one of the major problem faced by the people today. Teenagers or adolescents are very prone to becoming drug addicts. A drug addict is fully dependent on the drug he or she takes, hence causing physical and mental imbalance. Not only drugs, but addiction of alcohol, cigarettes and tobacco is a major concern today moving among people. Children, please stay away from it. Okay, for some time you will enjoy, but the result at the end would be a complete failure. Okay, please stay away from all that. Taking of alcohol, cigarettes, certain medicines, they are of no use. It gives a joy only for a moment, but at the end it completely ruins your life. Okay, now AIDS. Okay, we'll talk about AIDS over here. Now, drugs are not just administered orally, they can also be injected into the bloodstream. using a syringe. Use of infected needles and syringes spread HIV, that is human immunodeficiency virus, that cause the incurable and the most fatal disease called AIDS. AIDS can also be spread through sexual contact and through blood transfusion. Okay children, whenever we are using the syringe, what happens? If we are drug addicted, what do we do? We take it orally, or what happens? We inject in a body through the syringes, and if the syringe is infected, what happens? That infected virus gets inside the body, and that is known as AIDS. Okay, that is not at all curable. Okay, so how do you get this AIDS? Either by sexual contact or by blood transfusion. Okay, so with this I end the chapter. I hope you have understood clearly. Go through the chapter once again. The more you will read, the more your doubts would be cleared. Thank you and have a nice day.